What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I want to talk about some confusion that is happening about Sentry. Some people think Sentry is better than Null. Some people think that Null is better than Sentry and PvE, and I'm here to clarify all of these things. Because of the last video I did, I was doing certain things and I was saying certain things. I was saying Null is absolutely better. You know, you should prioritize Null over Sentry, especially if you're PvE motivated, because Null is just a whole lot stronger. And I wasn't wrong about that. However, if you have penetration on your cards, I mean, if you have Pierce on your cards, then it's a different story. Evidently, when you achieve more Pierce on your cards, Sentry's damage actually goes up. And Null's just kind of, it goes up, but it doesn't go up at as fast a rate. Evidently, the Pierce really seems to affect the characters that don't have any kind of native Pierce on them at all. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on here because I have no Pierce in my cards. I can't do any kind of comparison. But after watching some other videos, I can definitely see that the Pierce is making a massive difference for a character that doesn't have any Pierce. I mean, Sentry is actually right on par with Null, maybe even stronger on some accounts. But on my account, having no Pierce, he's not even close. He's not even in remote league. He's not even in the same place, guys. He's not even close. And I'm going to show that today. So we're going to do two things today. We're going to correct a wrong from a right from the last video. I was showing you all a rotation to use with Sentry, and it is a very consistent rotation, and it definitely works. But there is a better way to do it as far as doing more optimal damage over time, because you'll be able to do your tier 3 more often. And in this little comparison, as far as our damage comparison, you know, I am going to be running, you know, I do have 83% energy attack on my cards. So Sentry's got a massive leg up just because of that. And I have 53% physical attack on my cards, or 56, I'm sorry. So there's a big difference just between the amount of damage I'm getting from my cards for both of these characters. Again, I have no Pierce. But in Sentry, in the last video, what I was doing was I was canceling the 2 into the 5 into the 4 and putting the damage proc on the 4. And then afterwards, I do the 3-1. And then I do 2-5-4, 3-1, and then I would do 2-5-4 tier 3. So on the third rotation, I'd be doing the tier 3. Well, there's actually a much better way where you can actually get your tier 3 off cooldown much faster. And all you got to do is just hit 2-5-4 and put your damage proc on the 4. All right. And then afterwards, use your third skill. Let it play out. And you're going to wait a little bit. You're going to wait a little bit. And then you're going to go 3, 2, 5, 4, and then the tier 3. I needed to hit that tier 3 a little bit faster. I'm playing on my phone. It's kind of difficult because of the configuration that I have for my fingers. But the runs I'm going to show you, I played with my iPhone just so I'd be a lot faster and be able to do this rotation a whole lot better. And this is something I always need to keep in mind when I'm making these videos, when I'm talking about rotations with you guys. Sometimes when you want to play optimally, you have to be super fast with your fingers. You know, you need to cancel a lot of skills. And in Sentry case, you definitely need to do that. So playing on a phone, probably for most players, including myself, is really going to be a lot better for this character. You'll be able to use your tier 3 a whole lot more often if you're using that rotation. And as far as the little comparison here, I have almost 41,000 energy attack. I have 36,600 physical attack. As far as my stats, max attack speed, 33 crit rate. This is going to be maxed out from Null's 5th skill, which we will be talking about. And he has 198 critical damage, max ignore defense, and max skill cooldown. And as far as Sentry, he has close enough, I mean, 128% attack speed, close enough. He'll have max critical rate from his 4th skill. He has 188 critical damage. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to bring in a critical damage striker that's going to give 10% critical damage. He'll give 6% crit rate, but that really doesn't matter. We're going to be over the cap anyways. So we're going to have this exact same critical damage as Null. We have max ignore defense and max skill cooldown. And as far as Urus, you know, his gears are only at 20. This is going to be one difference between this comparison. But in all honesty, guys, if I had this first gear all leveled up, yeah, we'd get a little bit more damage out of it. But Null still would destroy because there's just such a massive difference between these characters. You'll see what I'm talking about. But as far as my Urus, I do have 5-star Urus on our boy Sentry. And for Null, I do have Mythic Urus, but again, I have 56% physical attack on my cards, and I have 83% energy attack on my cards. So that's more than making up the difference in the amount of attack that we have. As far as skills, they're all leveled up at 6. Now, something real quick to talk about Null is, and this is something I need, another reason I wanted to make this video, I want to correct myself, and I want to give a shout out to Godzillanator, because he actually made this statement about how a lot of us, including myself, when we would say, and he wasn't pointing the finger at me, it's just, he was just saying people in general were saying that you had to cancel the 5th skill immediately into the 4 and the 2. And that is something that I was saying. And what you actually, all you have to do is you just hit the 5th skill, and as soon as he strikes the sword down, then you can go into your other skills. Now, some people, what they do is they go 4, and then they go 5, strike the sword down, and then the 2. So it looks something like this, like this. And if you notice, we do have our attack buff and our crit rate buff, right? Now, the way that I do it, and it seems to work out really well for me, is I start off with the 5th skill, strike, 4, and then the 2. And that's how I play it, and I'm still getting that attack buff. So you can do it either way, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, but sometimes the 5th skill will set off the proc. I mean, you gotta be damn fast to catch it, but it is a much better way to play, and that attack buff lasts for 12 seconds, and because you can actually get that off, whenever your tier 3 is actually ready to go, you can actually hit your tier 3, you'll have the invincibility, when he swipes the sword down, you'll go into your 2. Now that's after doing 5-4-2, 5-4-2 twice, and then you can do this, and your damage is absolutely insane. It's murderous, guys, murderous. As far as ISOs, we have a fully awakened Power of Angry Hawk set, whoops, and we have a fully awakened Power of Angry Hawk set. And I did change Sentry's Obelisk to make this as fair as I could. We have a CTP of energy with the chain hit damage by 30% and the damage proc for 200%, and the same on Null. We have ignore dodge by 23% and ignore dodge by 33%. So they're virtually the same. We know the critical damage is exactly the same. We're going to be running the same ignore dodge strikers. Neither of these characters have any ignore dodge in their kit. They're only getting ignore dodge from the CTP of energy, and we have no uniform on either one of these characters. So I pre-recorded these runs on my iPhone so I could play Sentry a lot better, to be perfectly frank with all of you, and show these damage comparisons. So let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. So I tried to do the best runs I could for all 3 of these. Now this first run you're going to watch is the way that I played Sentry in yesterday's video, so just 2, 5, 4, and then afterwards we'll do the 3 and the 1, and we're just going to wait. We'll do 2, 5, 4 again. We'll hit our proc, and I tried getting runs where I get the proc every time, then we get the 3, 1 again, and then now we're going to go 2, 5, 4, and then tier 3. So we're over here, we got hit by that vine, there we go, 2, 5, 4, and we landed tier 3, lots and lots of good damage, there we go. Same team that we did yesterday, still stage 4. And I just want you all to see the difference of, you know, when you use this rotation versus the other rotation, which is a little bit better. But the thing about this rotation, what I'm doing right now, is because I'm not using that 3, it's just a lot easier to keep your proc where it belongs. Whenever you hit the 3 before the 2, 5, 4, sometimes you can accidentally trigger the proc, maybe your finger slips or misses. And this way is just more consistent, I think, for, you know, some players. I mean, definitely for me, but that's when I'm playing with my controller and when I'm playing on an emulator. When I'm playing on iPhone, it's actually playing and doing the other rotation is actually not too bad at all. And you'll see that here in a little bit. And you see, you know, guys, you know, something to keep in mind also in these comparisons is Cyclops there offers 30% energy attack from his passive. Null will not benefit from that. He is not going to get 30% energy attack. So Sentry has 30% more, almost 30% more energy attack from my cards, and 30% energy attack from Cyclops passive, buffing him up beyond Null. It's a huge, huge buff for Sentry. Okay, here we go. We almost got, we're just going through the first phase. We should break it right here. And boom, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. So we just need to remember 3 minutes and 4 seconds for that run. Now, let's check out the run where I used the other rotation. By the way, guys, I also have Ares for that 10% critical damage, so that way Null and Sentry do have the same amount of critical damage. And here we're going to go 2, 5, 4. We'll let that play out, and then we're just going to hit the 3. We're going to poke around a little bit, and then we're going to do 3, 2, 5, 4, tier 3. Just like so. We landed the proc on the tier 3. It did come a little bit late. I mean, you can't always get a perfect run. And then we hit our third skill again. We're going to do the 2, 5, 4. And then the next rotation, we'll do the 3, 2, 5, 4, tier 3. And you're using your tier 3 every other rotation instead of every third. So you actually are going to be doing more damage by doing this way. And look at that, was insane damage right there, right? That was beautiful, right? Okay, and we're back into our 2, 5, 4, and then the 3. And it really is a lot easier on a phone, honestly, guys, big time. So we gotta get from the time freeze here. We got crapped in this Simian invasion there. Okay, now we go. Let's go. Oh yeah, landed it, landed. Luckily that bind didn't hit us. Like I said, I tried getting the best runs I could. And remember, you know, we had 3 minutes and 4 seconds in that first run. And that's what we're trying to beat with this run, to show that this rotation is a little bit better. Oh yeah. Okay, and then we go 2, 5, 4. I mean, yeah, guys. I mean, look at it. You know, we're down to the 30-second bar here. And boom shakalaka, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So we did this 16 seconds faster with this rotation, which shows you guys that it is actually better to go 2, 5, 4, and then hit your third skill, and then wait a little bit, and then go 3, 2, 5, 4, tier 3. It's actually better to do it like that. But I think you will find that, you know, just doing 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, and then doing 2, 5, 4, tier 3 will probably be more consistent for your proc. But this is the better way. You will do more damage. I mean, think about it. Over a 5-minute period, you're actually saving a minute of time, which is massive. You can actually gain a good stage by doing this rotation instead of the one that I originally showed you. Now let's check out the Null run. So everything in this run is exactly the same as Sentry, except we're not using Ares as a striker because we already have max critical damage. We want everything the same between Sentry and Null. And there I hit my 5, got my attack buff, hit the 4 and then the 2. And boom shakalaka. And remember guys, he is not benefiting from that 30% energy attack passive from Cyclops like Sentry does. Okay, now I hit my tier 3. Then I hit my 5 and then my 2. And look at this damage, guys. Now, you know, this is what I mean. You know, when I told you guys that Null is stronger than Sentry, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that he is. But like I said earlier, evidently, you know, there are accounts that, you know, have a good amount of Pierce or whatever. I don't know how much Pierce is really going to make the difference. But then Sentry just starts catching up to Null. But you can see without Pierce, that just isn't the case. That just isn't the case. 408, guys. 408. That is a massive difference in the time that we did this. Null did it almost a minute faster than Sentry, not even using Null's leadership, not even taking advantage of the 30% increase of energy attack from Cyclops passive, having less physical attack on the cards, and Null still completely destroyed Sentry against himself. And that's why I was telling all of you guys that Null is way stronger, way better, and why you should be investing in him. But evidently, if you do end up deciding that you're going to end up trying to get a lot of Pierce on your cards, then maybe Sentry would be the better choice because he's amazing in PvE and PvP, and he actually doesn't need immunity to guard break. I know in the last video I said that it'd probably be better, and I still think that, but honestly, he can destroy with this thing right here with the energy. He doesn't really need it. He has super armor. He's really just so strong that, yeah, he can get it done, honestly, even without immunity to guard break. And the thing that I hate about all of this is, you know, you got one YouTuber, they'll say one thing. You have another YouTuber, they'll say another thing because they have completely different cards. So it's hard for like me to say, oh, you should do this and this and this, because I don't have any Pierce in my cards. And for the YouTubers that do have a lot of Pierce in their cards, I think they might forget what it's like not to have Pierce. You know, and that's not a knock on them. That's just reality. And it really sucks because, you know, I always want to inform you guys correctly. I always want to give you the best information. But this Pierce crap really has changed everything in the game. And I'm going to craft my cards and I'm going to get Pierce. But now it makes me worry if I do have Pierce in my cards, is that going to skew my opinion of who I think should be stronger? I mean, if I have 4% Pierce, will Sentry really start catching up to Null? I mean, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, yes, he will. And if you plan on putting Pierce on your cards and you plan on jacking them all up, then yeah, Sentry would be the better choice. Absolutely. He's more well-rounded. Absolutely. And the thing that really burns me up about it is you have this other character that's insanely expensive to level up. And he has 5% Pierce in his kit. But he starts losing value as you start increasing World Boss Legend and having Pierce in your cards? Say what? Well, that's a bunch of bullshit if that's the case, right? I mean, why would you want to get this character if he's not going to put in work for you later down the road? But I think for beginner players, for newer players that are players that just aren't going to put any Pierce in their cards, Null is the obvious choice to face himself. Obviously, he freaking mutilated Sentry. But if you do plan on slapping Pierce on your cards, and the thing is, guys, I don't know how much Pierce really makes the difference. I don't know if it's 4%. I don't know if it's 10%. I have no idea how much Pierce really makes the difference. And it can honestly be very perplexing and confusing for everybody, really. So I just wanted to make this video to show all of you, if you don't have Pierce in your cards, Null is absolutely stronger, way stronger than Sentry. But evidently, if you have a lot of Pierce on your cards, then Sentry will either be on par with Null or just as strong. And since all of us have different cards, we have different amounts of Pierce or have no Pierce at all, it's hard to say who's really the better choice, and it really is going to depend on where you are in the game as to what character you'd want to level up first. So I'm hoping that I just shed some light on this subject, and hopefully it will help you make better choices as far as which one of these characters you're going to level up. If you're not planning on crafting your cards and you're not planning on getting Pierce in your cards, then Null is the obvious choice for PvE. Sentry is always a PvP god. Really, you'd want both of them. And if you do plan on putting a lot of Pierce on your cards, then Sentry would be the better choice. So let me know how y'all feeling about this conundrum. And as always, I live stream on Twitch at 10 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.